All right, we'll get you more on that, but I've got some news that's coming in right now, as well as some exclusive details. This is the latest on what's happening with Goa miners. We understand that they're making a last-ditch attempt to get mining activity going in the state. They may be approaching the Supreme Court asking for fresh leases. The person, of course, is tracking all of this very, very closely since its beginning is Shantanu Goa. He's joining us with this exclusive right here in the studio. Shantanu, wonderful to have you right here. What's the latest on this issue?
Well, I think they are really worried because everything has come to a standstill and both the sides have some valid arguments. The NGOs are saying more than 35,000 crores have been plundered in illegal mining, and all the mining companies are saying you put us through a fine and do whatever, renew the lease, but at least let activities start. Nearly 75,000 direct employees are affected, 350,000 people indirectly impacted, lots of trucks stranded in Goa, and there is a possible threat that the miners might even bypass the government of the Goa and come straight to Supreme Court with a special leave petition asking for some kind of a justice, but I really doubt whether that will happen.
Okay, so Shantanu, how is this actually really going to be working? Because there was talk about amendments to laws as well as taking in various parties, I guess, on it. What's actually going to be happening there?
The Goa government wants an amendment to be done, which is fairly fine. But then the moot point is, do I renew the leases? That is the way to go forward, but all miners are not keen on that. They say if you go for this renewal of leases, the entire process is so tedious that it will take a minimum of 2 to 3 years. So as of now, it is stuck in a logjam.
So what are we actually finally waiting for when it comes to what they're waiting, what they're expecting here? Because one wants, I guess, clarity as well as some kind of firm policy when it comes.
The miners want that with a legislative amendment change, at least the mining should start on a parallel level. If they could try and do some kind of a fresh lease, but somewhere the activity needs to start. If the activities don't start, they are all stuck, and they are now threatening, like the farmers did. They could actually march right up to Delhi, because this is one story which has completely fallen off the map. We are in the heat of Karnataka election and all kinds of things, but for the last 2 months there is virtually no work. Salaries are not being paid, and now retrenchment will start.
And lots of jobs, basically.
Well, obviously, I mean, there's lots of serious jobs, and 65,000 people means a lot of people.
And just one thing before I let you go, Shantanu, because you've been tracking this so carefully. We understand that it was the CM that was holding that mining portfolio. He's, of course, away at the moment. What is actually happening when it comes to action on the ground there?
I really don't know whether Manohar Parrikar comes back to the ground, but the fact that he's been away and he has been holding the CM as well as the mining portfolio, let's not forget that he has been severely castigated by the courts for rushing through some of the proposals. So even if he comes back and tries to take forward his agenda, I don't know how much of benefit he will get, but the government on its own had asked a top lawyer in Delhi that what would possibly be they be able to do, but they were told that you cannot do anything now in the Supreme Court, the case is all shut. So they need to try and do some legislative amendments and see if this huge industry involving some of the biggest companies in the country, at least some work can start happening.
All right, significant development there. Shantanu, great having you in the studio, giving us those exclusive details, really talking to us about how the fact that the miners may be approaching the Supreme Court for relief, really actually fleshing out for us what the sort of moot points are there. Just want to bring in T.S. Ananthakrishnan on this. Have you been tracking this particular matter? Because we've been looking at certain companies where this is all relevant. The latest bit of news really coming in from my colleague right there, which is that the Goa miners are going to be making that last-ditch attempt really to get that activity going on in the state.
I've not been following it, so wouldn't be able to comment on it, nor do we have any miners in our portfolio, so would not be able to offer any comment.
Fair enough, Anant, and we continue to track that sector because of the larger implications that it has going ahead from here, keeping in mind everything that my colleague Shantanu Goa has just shared with us. Meanwhile, we're looking at JP Associates.